Our lives are shaped by the privileges we have and the disadvantages that we have. I'm going to talk a little bit about the privileges that I have in my life. For example, I come from a two-parent household. Education was always easily accessed in my home. I am about to be a college graduate. I was born without an accessibility. But I think that the privilege that many of us forget to think about is the privilege of being born in the United States and the privilege of citizenship, because that gives us a freedom from fear and a privilege of security. My name is Michaela Tomlinson. I'm a fourth-year undergrad at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo in California. I'm a member of AMSA, and most importantly, I'm an ally of Dreamers. During this talk, I primarily want to talk about DACA. 2 months ago, on Tuesday, September 5th, President Donald Trump rescinded DACA. And I'm sure you saw it in the news and in social media because there was a huge outcry. Facebook profile, pictures were changed. But not much is being talked about DACA now, so I want to talk about what is DACA, what is happening now, and what can we do. DACA status is a 2-year temporary status granted to 800,000 young adult undocumented individuals. DACA stands for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. There are certain criteria that an individual must have to obtain DACA status. These being that they must be under 31 years of age as of June 15th, 2012. They must have come to the United States under the age of 16, and they must have continually resided in the United States from 2007 to the present. That means that these people, these young adults, were brought here under the age of 16 illegally, but through usually no will of their own because they were brought here by a parent. And a lot of these individuals have only known the United States as their home. There are other qualifications for DACA. They have to pass a criminal background check, and many of these people are enrolled in schools. They're in high school, college, med school, other master's programs. Many even own their own businesses. Why was DACA necessary? DACA allowed these individuals to come out of the shadows with a 2-year temporary status to obtain a valid driver's license, to enroll in college, to legally secure jobs, and to get student loans. But most of all, it allowed them to no longer have a fear of deportation for 2 years. It's important to note that nearly half of undocumented adults are parents of minors, many of whom are citizens. And there are an estimated 5.5 million children with at least one undocumented parent. And so this creates a weird mixed status dynamic in a family, which creates fear of either your parent being deported or an older sibling being deported. But with DACA, that fear was able to be alleviated for some of these individuals. But like I said before, DACA is a temporary 2-year status. You have to apply again every 2 years, and there is no legal path for citizenship for these people unless you marry you get your green card by having a spouse who's a United States citizen, or you can get a work green card, but to get that you must leave the country for a certain amount of years, and hopefully being approved for the green card to eventually come back, but that's after years later. And many of these people have families or children who are in the United States and who are citizens. And so AMSA needs to mobilize. We have until March 6th. March 6th is when Congress can approve DACA or approve of some other sort of law that grants these individuals temporary status. Right now, there are some task force being created between Democrats and Republicans. President Trump, on his Twitter, has stated that he does not want these individuals to be deported and that Congress must act to do something. But we need to pick up the pace. Democratic leaders like Nancy Pelosi thought that this issue wouldn't take very long and that we wouldn't have to wait until March 6th to finally have a decision, and that a decision would be created much sooner, but that hasn't happened yet. The other thing that we need to talk about within AMSA is the DREAM Act. And so the DREAM Act was introduced way back in the day in 2001 by Senators Richard Durbin and Lindsey Graham, and it would provide those dreamers a path to citizenship. The number of individuals that would be covered by the DREAM Act is larger than those who have DACA status, but it builds bridges and not walls. I'm lucky to have been born here. Others are not so lucky, but this is their country just as much as mine. So let's call our representatives. DACA needs to be our main priority because the deadline is March 6th. But then we really need to talk about a legal path to citizenship. These individuals are our neighbors, they're our friends, they're our colleagues, they're our fellow students in medical school. And so I'd like to see a large globalization of this world that brings people together.